VectaGuard Zero mixes games like Caverns of Mars, Gravatar, and Thrustlander together, but adds a heavy Tron aesthetic to create a slightly derivative but high-quality arcade game on the VCS from BPM Boy developer RetroNinja. Similar to the original Caverns of Mars, you'll face the same threats in the same place in each stage, and the challenge is surviving long enough to reach the thing you need to destroy, then get out with enough time. Although there are 3 continues, once they're gone, you'll have to start from the first stage again, so progression means getting good enough to beat every one of the multiple stages in one go before heading to the next planet. You level up game by game and unlock new game modes, but most importantly, new weapons, with different attack patterns and abilities. You'll have 2 weapons, generally one with a wider, shorter blast and one with a more straight line shot, then level at least one of those weapons up to its peak before getting out. You'll also rescue people to get health back and lower your radiation meter. Radiation acts as the main timer in each stage. Similar to BPM Boy, I'm not particularly good at VectaGuard Zero, and so far I've not been able to beat the first planet. I've gotten most of the way there, but I keep blowing up before escaping. Getting out in time means planning for it ahead of time by picking the fastest route, the best weapons, and deciding what needs to be destroyed and what doesn't. Learning the maps are key. As you'd expect, the enemies get tougher and faster as you face later stages, and the levels get longer and require more planning to succeed. Each weapon has variable damage based on hit distance, so look for red numbers instead of white. Additionally, weapons have a replenishing cooldown and do more damage when they're not being constantly fired, so learning weapon cadence is also important. It's a bit of a quirk that the Atari VCS has a large number of games in its catalog with spaceships in caves blasting things and trying to escape. It might actually be one of the VCS's most represented style of games. VectaGuard Zero plays most similarly to Caverns of Mars and Atari 50th, but with a modern look and feel, due to its repeated and static stages. But the combat's different if for no other reason than you're generally shooting sideways and in 2 directions instead of downwards. The classic joystick is not supported, although getting the game to work on the classic should be possible. You use R1 to change weapons, R2 to shoot, L2 to switch facing, and the stick to steer. Definitely doable on a classic. You can also use buttons to fire if you prefer. I liked VectaGuard Zero quite a bit due to its cool look, excellent audio, and challenging arcade gameplay, even if I don't expect to get very far through the game due to its difficulty and the time required to master it. People looking for a challenging arcade shooter requiring practice, planning, and perfect execution will love this game. VectaGuard Zero is currently only available on the VCS, although developer Tony Barnes has stated plans to bring it to Steam in the coming weeks. Barnes has been a frequent visitor to the VCS Discord and supporter of the console, so it's nice to see a second game from him on the VCS. Thanks for watching. I'm going through as much of the entirety of the Atari VCS's Atari OS Game Store catalog as I can, and you can find more than 200 VCS game reviews on this channel, so subscribe if you're into it and like to say thanks. Have fun!